the celebrity couple name for Pepper and Tony is Pepperoni?
Pepperoni.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, Deadpool 2 gets an adult-rated soundtrack, Mike.
Oh, of course, rated R.
Rated? Well, no, that's not for soundtracks, but yes. Ant-Man and the Wasp deliver a sizable trailer.
Oh, Chris.
I had to work one in. The DC Universe has a streaming service.
Yes, it does.
And more.
Yeah, and you might notice a little bit more bass or maybe gravel to my voice. This is the first time in a long time I think we've recorded in the AM on my side of the country, and I don't think we've ever recorded in the AM on your side of the country because I don't know how that's feasible.
We have. I think we stayed up late enough one night.
We're technically
recorded, and I was like 12 in the morning, like midnight here. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to paint this like beautiful like Southern California morning picture for you, where I'm in like a robe, I got like a mug of coffee and like a newspaper under my arm, but like that's not me. Like I'm just like curled up in the corner of my bedroom talking about superheroes, like sipping on water, and I hate coffee, so.
and I've noticed before this, Mike's a little crankier in the morning, so hopefully that comes out throughout the show.
I would say I'm a little bit sassier in the morning. You know, I haven't ingested anything yet. Haven't gotten any snacks or breakfast in me. I mean, really, I just skip breakfast on the weekends, and I just go straight for snacks to tide me over till lunch, because prime time is lunchtime for me, so that's how I roll.
Well, I woke up this morning and I did this thing. Are you familiar with a weed eater or a weed whacker, depending on your dialect?
Well, a weed eater means something totally different to me, but I guess I do know what a weed whacker is.
I forgot you're in California. So a lawn trimmer. How about that? We'll go with the generic term.
Gotcha.
We purchased a lawn trimmer Friday night, and when you open up a new electronic device, you rip it open and you're like, I want to use this right now. Mm-hmm. But all the instructions say you need to charge the battery because the battery's been sitting in a box discharging forever, you know. Mm-hmm. Well, I was like, no, I'm just gonna go for this. So I got like halfway through my house and then the battery ran out of this electric lawn trimmer. And I was like, son of a bitch. But I charged it up and got up this morning because it rained all day yesterday and finished the job. And the full charge battery does my whole house, so I know I don't have to worry about that. But I've already done some lawn work today, Mike. I'm and showered up, and I'm ready to roll. Wow,
so. Thrilling, Chris.
And I watched Spider-Man last night. My sister-in-law came over when we watched Spider-Man: Homecoming because she's never seen it.
Oh wow! So I hope she liked it.
Yeah, I definitely think she did. I think it was really funny because she said the most unbelievable part of the movie is whenever like Peter's asking what's her name, Liz, to prom, and she's like, "This is so unbelievable." I'm like, "Are we watching the same movie?" I'm like, "This," but she's like, "Yeah, I know, it's fine." So I thought that was really funny, and I want to talk about that a little bit in our first topic, which of course will be Infinity War. But did anything else go on this week? We had the Kentucky Derby here. I know some fans of the show were watching.
Man, I mean, even Derby hype makes it over here to the West Coast because it means absolutely nothing to me and my wife. But we were out running errands, and you'd run into an establishment that would have a television, and then they have the Derby on. Mm-hmm. We had to swing by the eye doctor to pick up some contacts and glasses, and then the Derby's on at the eye doctor too, and it's just like, man, people got Derby fever.
They do. I don't get it yet. I mean, I lived close enough to Kentucky where I had to deal with Kentucky Derby people or Indy 500 people, and they're usually in the same month, and I'm like, they all go fast and turn left a little bit, Mike. It's all a big circle, whether you're on a horse or a car. It really doesn't matter to me. But in our house, we picked the horses for the Kentucky Derby based on their name. Mm-hmm. A couple of us did, and I actually chose the winner just on the name alone.
What was that? I don't know.
Justify.
Because
I kept saying it. Oh, that's Justify.
Oh man, I feel like if I was an owner of a horse, I would just go for the worst name possible because probably a lot of people pick horses based on names. So I would only want people picking my horse if they were trying to be ironic or they really knew their stuff. I would just literally name my horse like Slow as Tar, and just
there were no good names this year, but I did notice the first time that a horse was named after a corporate sponsor. There was an
really?
Audible horse. Brought to you by Audible.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I'm like, slap some stickers on it and make it an old-fashioned NASCAR race here.
Oh, man. That's a business we should get into, horse stickers. I'm sure there's some adhesive you got to work out to put on the horse hair and everything.
I bet it's glue from the horses.
Oh, no, Chris. Oh, no.
I know. I went there.
Well, before we jump into our first topic, I think we got to put out our safety warning there that this will be the last spoiler-free episode of Superhero Slate for Avengers Infinity War. We've given you a good solid 2 weekends, and then coming up next weekend, we'll let the reins loose. So I think that's been plenty of time to go see this movie. We're going to talk about here in a minute about how many people have gone to see this movie. So, we're not going to necessarily blatantly spoil everything next week, but if something slips, I'm not going to feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where the news articles are even like, "Hey, this thing happened. Here's why," or "Here's some secrets behind this." Not
to mention the memes. It would be hilarious to jump into a person's head who loves these movies, but just for some freak reason hasn't been able to make it to the movie theaters, and then they're seeing some of these memes out there. They'd be like, "What does this mean? Why is SpongeBob turning into dust and floating away?"
There are a lot of SpongeBob memes for this movie. There are too many, but. We'll jump into it next week. So, but until then, that topic is in fact Avengers Infinity War. And I was going to mention my sister-in-law had not seen Spider-Man, but has been interested in revisiting Marvel movies after watching Infinity War. So I think even if you haven't seen all 18 leading up to it, I still think you can watch it and it'll pay off. But I enjoy the fact that people who've watched this like, oh, I like these characters. I want to go back and take a look at them.
So is this like the reverse of our pre-Avengers question? Like what three movies do people catch up to go see it? And then after they see the movie, what 3 movies should they go watch to jump back into the universe? Yeah, I feel like it could be the same answers.
it very well could be. I also think that maybe some of them that we thought were important maybe were not as important in Infinity War. And some that maybe weren't. The other way, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, possibly. It's funny that you did bring up Spider-Man Homecoming, because I was ruminating on that movie in my head the other day, I think probably when I was stuck in traffic. Because of Infinity War is such a big movie. It's such a climax, and there's no character development because you don't really need to worry about any of that, really just with Thanos. So I was thinking back on Spider-Man Homecoming, and I was like, that's a really nice, isolated, just one-off movie. It's almost like, I would say, the perfect MCU style of movie, because you set up your villain based on a little bit of backstory that we've had with the movies already. So you already have this really nice motivating factor for the Vulture, based on the invasion of New York. So that's just built in. Do you think that
makes it isolated though, because you have to have seen Avengers to get that reference?
No, I think it's just in these new ages of these Marvel movies, it's just impossible to look at them isolated through a microscope. You just have to look at them in the clout of movies that surround them. And I think Spider-Man does it perfectly. They bring just enough in, we're going to bring in a little bit of it to use for a backstory for our villain. And then, we're going to throw in just, a big character from one of our other movies. But, he's not going to be a big hitter. He's just going to be delivering some exposition and chastising our hero. Then everything else is just all new and brand new and fun. So I would like to see that kind of formula used going forward for maybe if we get any new heroes or new standoff movies, but I don't know. We gotta wait for Kevin Feige to come out of his Feige hole to announce all of these new movies.
And I really don't think they will until after Avengers 4 to play it close to their chest, because I think that's why they're we don't want to tell you who supposedly lives or dies after the Avengers 4, or who's who could appear. So I'm interested to see that, but I know we've got to wait. We've got to wait a minute. But as always, our box office update, Mike. We have to tell you that this is the fastest movie to $1 billion.
Ooh,
ever.
I'm not gonna say I'm a genius and predicted it, but I saw the smoke signals around Wednesday.
Yeah. And then it's currently at 1.16 billion after 11 days, I think, maybe 10 days, and it could possibly crack. It will probably beat the Avengers 1, which is 1.5 billion total run. I don't know if it'll crack 2 billion, but man, this movie has got some immediate legs. We'll have to see when Deadpool and Star Wars come out, but I think it's safe to say they made a little money on this. The Russo brothers have gone on to say that the production cost for these movies, Avengers 3 and 4, were around $400,000 a day to keep them up and going on pace.
Oh my God, that's astounding. It really makes me wonder if one single director could have handled a movie like this. I think it is almost beneficial for having two directors on a film. I was at a random industry Hollywood Q&A out here maybe a year or two ago. I really don't remember what it was, but we go to these things often for my wife for writing. And I asked the question of, when you have writing partners or directing partners, do they get more money or do they just split the commission down the middle? And I was kind of surprised to learn that they really don't get paid more money. Like if you choose to be a directing pair or a writing pair, you don't command a bigger contract necessarily. You have to still split that money. But I guess just the job is technically easier for you because you got a writing partner. But I think for someone like the Russo brothers now, I think they definitely can command more money because it's just hey, you got these big giant franchise movies that have to deal with 20 different characters and all these different contracts. And I think you're going to need two of us, and you're going to pay us a lot more money than you would have if you just had one director.
Well, also, I mean, the writing pair was writing people was a pair of people as well, who've been around since the beginning, and they kind of wrote their own checks. They did the work to get to where they were, so no doubt about that. But apparently, even with this production cost around $400,000 a day to get there, they still went over budget on this movie because it's just inevitable. Eventually, you're going to run out of money, and there's a lot going on. But they also confirmed they shot for a year straight from January to January, with only about 2 weeks in between the shoots off. Ooh. So I'm very excited to see where Avengers 4 takes us.
Yeah, I think some of these characters are going to be ready to retire from the MCU after this slog of a schedule, and I wonder if maybe that's how they kind of pitched it to them too. It's just hey guys, I know this is going to be a crazy next 2 years, but these are your last two movies. We're paying you a ton of money. Everyone's going to be sad to see you go, but it's going to be a fun time. So don't necessarily buy a house in Georgia because maybe you won't be in the MCU anymore after this.
Or they could with all the money they made. So
yeah, I guess it doesn't even matter. They're yeah, screw it, we'll buy it and then just sell it a year later.
I mean, I think they all know who's coming back for the next, I think what they say, 8 years. So I mean,
oh, man.
They probably met with the people who need to stay and hey, maybe we want you back for an Iron Man version of Spider-Man, like you kind of talked about. But I'm also interested to learn that Black Panther's still in theaters and it came in at number 6 this week, still making in that money for Black Panther, the solo movie.
Yeah, it's that what are the corporate drones call it, synergy?
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that it got a little bit of a bump when Infinity War was coming out. Obviously it made a bunch of money and it was trending downward like all movies do when they're about to leave the theaters, but then it's just oh, another Marvel movie, bump, tick.
Well, I mean, I would like to see I guess you don't have to, but watching Black Panther in theater and swapping right on over to Infinity War would be pretty fun.
Oh, that would be cool.
But I mean, it's still up there. It's number 6. And there's a couple movies in between. I think Rampage is still in there. That remake of Overboard is out there. And
oh God, the
Amy Schumer movie. I know you're really excited for. So they're still out there. So that's great. Marvel's still making some money. Black Panther still has more money overall. I think it's at 1.3 billion. So I think Infinity War will catch up to it this week, but it had a really good run.
Oh yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about is Avengers 4 and my theory here, because there is an older comic series from the 90s called Avengers Forever. I think it was in the late 90s it came out, and it has now, as of this week, been added to Comixology for some reason.
Oh, I see. So you're doing a little investigative journalism here.
A little bit. But I also think the title Avengers Forever is a hell of a title for the 4th movie.
Oh, the Avengers Forever. And it also kind of sounds like a 4. It's like Fast and the Furious right there.
Yeah. They don't have to put the 4 in there. They don't have to make the A into a 4. It's already right there. I think I don't remember about what was kind of going on in that. I mean, I don't think it'll follow the plot line, but of all the stupid Avengers sequel titles they've come up with, I like it better than Infinity Gauntlet or anything like that. I think it would definitely be a better title. So I don't know. What do you think about if they made that title?
Yeah, it's not bad. Avengers Forever. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the idea that we toiled around with a couple weeks ago with Avengers Annihilation. It just sounds a lot more intense to me. So I don't know if they would even follow that storyline or whatever this Forever storyline is here. But Kevin Feige has told us that we will be underwhelmed when we hear this title because it's been hyped up a little bit too much. So, I'm trying to temper my expectations.
I just think Annihilation sounds more like the end of the line, and I don't think the next one is going to be the end of the line. Like, I think it's going to be more character building. I don't know. Because there's a lot of characters we didn't see, and I think we're going to see those. So, I don't know. But so it's the first time on digital. I don't think it'll be called number Forever. I think Pokemon did that one time. I don't think it'll be that. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting and a good title in my book. If I was to it's underwhelming. It's not the best thing in the world, but this is acceptable in my book.
Well, you heard it here first, Chris. So if you're right, you'll get all the points.
That's right. And I'll forget about this by next year. So if somebody, super fans, want to write this down, let us know. Now, the other question is, I've been watching S.H.I.E.L.D. Have you been watching S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I have seen everything except the episode that just aired Friday, so I'm one episode behind.
Okay, I think I'm 2 now. I keep losing track of that it comes on Friday, and other shows are Sunday and Tuesday. I'm I don't know where any of my shows are right now. But do you think Infinity War will affect Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s finale, which is coming up in, I think, 2 weeks?
So I have been thinking about this. So first of all, we don't know if S.H.I.E.L.D. is getting another season. So that's still a big question. If we knew for a fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't going to get another season, they could easily not write any of the MCU into their finale just because they wouldn't have to worry about moving forward. But we had talked about reports about how even though the last episode is called The End, they say that there could be a possibility that it could go into another season. So let's just assume Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is getting another season. I think that they could ride it out until at least the season premiere. Maybe they could tease it a little bit in the season finale. But, based on the timing, I think it's fine if things kind of happen just a little bit before, because we technically don't know when Avengers Infinity War happened, at least right now. But usually things are supposed to be a little continuous running along the present timeline. But if it did go forward, it would be really badass, I think, no spoilers, if they did incorporate what happened at the end of Infinity War, because I don't think Ant-Man's going to do it. I think it's officially stated that Ant-Man is before that timeline.
No,
and
nothing's official on that, but go on.
And then Captain Marvel is in the 90s, and maybe at the very end, like the third act or the post-credit scene, it might jump back into the future. But it doesn't seem like we're going to have any sort of movie or narrative that's going to play with this kind of this shift and rift in the world and the universe. So it would be kind of cool if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just went balls to the wall and ran with it, because that's kind of what they've been doing this whole season. I mean, they went to the future, they came back to their own timeline, they're running all around, they're trying to keep this timeline from happening where they were. It's been really crazy, and I think it just goes to show that nothing's off the table for them. So I would love to see them play with this for almost because they could play with it for the entire season, and it'd be, but at the same time, usually when a big wrench is thrown into them, usually they do their best to try to fix it. So I guess they would kind of just be it would just be a passive experience for them, and they wouldn't really be able to take a proactive charge towards trying to right their world. So I don't know. It'd be a weird thing to play with.
So I think there are 2 things here that I would like to see them play with in the next season, if possible. With the next 2 episodes left of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think they could reference it, but I don't think it's going to affect them in the long run. But if they did, if they get renewed, But we have the idea of Wakanda opening itself up to the world. So introducing Wakandan tech into S.H.I.E.L.D. would be interesting. And then also dealing with the ramifications of this big global thing. And does the world need S.H.I.E.L.D. after this thing anymore?
Yeah, it will be hard to... it's hard to talk about without spoiling it, so maybe we'll table it and we'll come back to this next week and we'll talk about more in full.
I think maybe 2 weeks. I think wait till the finale. I think
okay.
Let's just wait 2 weeks. We don't need to talk about it every week, but let's see. I don't know. it's
We'll
very
do like
it's
a-
up in the air. Yeah, so
We'll do like almost like a post-mortem on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And hopefully, so the upfronts for all of our television networks are coming up here in the month of May. So I would believe maybe by the time the finale airs, we will know if we're going to get another season. So yeah, we'll do like
I think they'll have to know to put in that final like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We'll see you next season kind of thing.
yeah. So we'll do like a whole retrospective on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In 2 weeks then.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good idea, Chris.
Yeah, we'll pull that up. So, in that regard, you mentioned Ant-Man and the Wasp. We don't know where it sits yet, but it's probably safe to say it's before Infinity War. But we got a new trailer for it this week, Mike. A official trailer number 2, whatever we want to call it. It's a new trailer. And I've got to say, had a good time with this one. I really enjoy the action going on in this. They're getting really creative with the powers. I think the first one was very safe in what they were doing, and this one is like, hey, how can we up the size changing abilities and powers we got for these characters? And I think I really enjoyed this trailer. Mike, what do you think?
I mean, trailer-wise, this is much better. I mean, you could flash back to the first trailer for Ant-Man 2, and we talked about it on the show, and I think I was like, this was the first time I've seen a bad Marvel trailer. I still think this movie is going to be good, and this trailer gives me a lot better hope. We're not really relying on like the black and white flashback for Civil War, which would be really weird in context now because Civil War almost seems like an ancient relic after watching Infinity War. So I'm glad we don't have any of those flashbacks. I didn't particularly like the music choice in the first trailer. This one's a little bit more fun. And then also I love just the size comparison. We're going from big to small, from 65 feet down to like just maybe microns in like this small micro universe. I really what am I trying to put my finger on here? Oh man, it's early in the morning over here for me.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
What I like is, again, they make reference that, again, the Wasp is not a sidekick. She is a full-fledged partner in this. She can hold her own. I really enjoy, the size stuff is going to, I think, blow our minds because they probably got a little more money, a little more faith in this. And we've seen the Ghost in this a little more than we saw in the first one, and her phasing abilities where she can go through matter.
All right, I remembered the
Go
two
on.
things I was going to say, Chris.
Go on.
So I was trying to think back really hard to the first Ant-Man movie, which was difficult because I think before we hopped on the show, I tried to remember the last time I watched Ant-Man. But I don't want to say the first Ant-Man movie is a slow-paced movie, but it does take a while until we get into kind of, full-fledged Ant-Man jumping around doing tiny people things. And we never see him get large. So it feels like in this movie, since we've had all of that established, we're just going to see nonstop sizing fun action this whole movie, which I'm really looking forward to. And also, you bring it around to Ghost. I'm really curious how supervillains and superheroes get made now in the MCU. Just because when we're not doing kind of like science-based stuff, we kind of have to go into almost like pseudoscience a little bit. So I'm curious how Ghost gets her powers, because Ant-Man has his powers from technology, and the Ghost, I don't know if Ghost gets her powers from like a suit that she's wearing, or maybe I have a feeling she probably gets caught up in some sort of like explosion and that makes her phase through stuff. So it's probably just going to be some sort of sciencey explosion that gives her powers. But yeah, I always like seeing how the MCU can like create and give people powers, because it's a creative writing exercise. We had to give the Maximoff twins powers through like a random Infinity Stone that was like the Mind Stone, which doesn't really make sense for the type of powers that they have, but they're just like, screw it, we don't have mutants. So I like seeing how you give people powers when you can't just say, oh, they're a mutant.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, to make everyone mutants would just be, I think, the stupidest thing ever, honestly, because I think it's too easy. But what I think is going to happen with her, and I was actually going to talk about this, is I think they're going to go, like, she's going to get stealing something, she's going to try to steal something, get caught of them going down to the quantum realm, because, they talk about Hank Pym looking for his wife, who did not make an appearance in this trailer, by the way.
But she makes an appearance on the poster.
She does. But I think when they come back, maybe she's stuck with some of those quantum realm abilities, because maybe her suit wasn't, rated to deal with that kind of stuff.
Possibly.
But because, I mean, her, at least it's a different villain. It's not a shrinking villain like the first one was. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can kind of do with scope and scale. It looks like Michael Pena is taking a more advanced role in this movie because everybody loves him. So hopefully he's not just screaming with it like a madman most of the film.
No, that's what I want him to do.
I guess I liked his other ones where he was telling the story about the story kind of thing.
I'm sure we'll get some sort of variation on that.
I bet Stan Lee's in one of those again. He was really good in the first one, but I gotta like it. And then also at the end, the reveal that Lawrence Fishburne played or was part of the Goliath project, which is Bill Foster was the Goliath, the giant man of his era, I guess. So
it'd be really cool to see kind of like two giant men fight each other, because I could see all the type of Godzilla jokes that could be told, or King Kong stuff that could happen.
Now, do you think, I mean, we saw him grow large in the water. Do you think there's a reason he's actually out in the I guess the San Diego Bay area?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was in front of a boat. Maybe he was saving the people on a boat. There's lots of boat action that happens in the MCU nowadays. They're cranking it up a nautical notch.
Yeah, gotta do some water. So, yeah, but so I mean I liked it. I like this trailer. The only thing I don't get is the ant on the drum kit. Again, I figured you would have the biggest complaint with that.
I mean, it just happens so quickly. I love it.
Is it one of those shots just for the trailer to get people like, what's going on here?
It's just so weird. It's just like, okay, I guess it's somewhat believable that they could have like a giant pet ant, because that was left over from the first movie. But like the fact that it like is now like smart and drumming, it's just like, I don't understand it, but I love it.
It doesn't. Maybe it's not smart. Maybe they gave the family one of those little ear communicators for the ants.
Slave, drum for me.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I need someone to drum while I play the guitar, kind of thing.
I don't know. I think I mean, I know this is a big deal, and a lot of people are talking about this ant, but it might be sentient because I think it's wearing headphones. And why would you wear headphones on an electric drum kit if you were being told to do it? Because wouldn't the person controlling the ant want to hear the electric drums as well? Huh?
I have no idea. No, I don't see this at all. I don't know. I don't know ant biology, so I can't.
Doesn't this ant have like a name? Isn't it like a number?
This one, I don't know if this one was. This one seemed to be like a random one that was in the house battle. Because
it was named after
the other one was Antony. Was the only one that had a name.
Oh yeah, and then he died.
Yeah. So thanks. Now you bring up sad memories. So Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer 2 coming out in July. Our next Marvel movie on the horizon. From Marvel, at least. So we'll talk about another Marvel property movie here in a minute. Black Widow, the solo movie. Marvel has reportedly met with at least 65 directors on this film, trying to get very thorough, trying to do this movie right, I think.
I like how you did the math, though, because all of the headlines I saw last week were like 5 dozen directors, because, they're trying to, I guess, make it sound like more, but you're just like, nope, I'm going to do the math over here at Superhero Slate, give you 65 directors. That's a lot of directors, but I don't really have any comparison. I don't know how many they usually go through. I would assume that this is a higher than average number, but I guess they're really trying to get it right, and that's good, because Black Widow's been in the MCU since nearly the beginning. What,
2010 in Iron
2010?
Man 2.
Yeah, so she's a real legacy character, and if she's going to get her own solo movie, it's really you got to do her justice, cuz she's a senior member of the Avengers. She deserves an awesome movie. I hope it's not a prequel type movie. I think you mentioned that last week. I want to be moving forward with this character, so I'm curious what they'll make her do. It's got to be kind of.
I'm pretty sure you said you wanted a prequel, and I said no. Don't do that.
I don't know. You know what? As you can tell out there on the Twitterverse, half of what I say doesn't make any sense, and I'm always wrong. So
I got to say, I do love our listeners for pointing that out, especially friend of the show, Quentin Parker, who holds nothing back.
Yeah, holds nothing back, and I'm going to fight him.
But it's fun to know that people out there listening, getting frustrated in their real life work and doing things in real life at you, Mike. They're like, well, I've got to stop work to yell at Mike for a second. So
trying to rile people up, man.
Yeah, you're trying to do something. Deadpool 2 has some music news here. I don't know how else to put this. There's no way to do it. So first and foremost, there's a new Celine Dion song called Ashes, and it is on the Deadpool soundtrack, and the soundtrack with all the normal songs on it. And they have a music video where a Deadpool in high heels comes out and does some interpretive dance with it.
Yeah, it's very entertaining to see the suit kind of matched up with high heels, because it doesn't look like just Ryan Reynolds slipped on high heels. It's almost like been made by the costume department. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I don't think that's Ryan Reynolds in that suit. That's got to be like an interpretive, like classically trained dancer doing that. But I kind of look at this as more of like just kind of like a review of the Deadpool marketing team. So I feel like they had an uphill battle this time around, because they got so much praise from the first time the movie came out, because it was new and original type of like marketing, just kind of just doing a bunch of weird stuff, and it really paid off. So this time around, I feel like they got more money to market it. So they're trying to go bigger, elevated a little bit, but they're still trying to keep it weird. But I feel like I've seen less stuff from my point of view. I don't know if just less people are sharing it and it's just not going quite as viral, just because Deadpool's not as like new and exciting anymore. I'm sure the movie's still going to be great, but when I was watching this music video, I almost thought it would be more entertaining if it was just released as a Celine Dion music video, no Deadpool anywhere in the title of it, and then all of a sudden, like maybe 30 seconds into the music video, you start to see like Deadpool crop up, because it's such a weird juxtaposition. But yeah, you know right away that Deadpool's going to pop up in the music video. But I guess if you have to review the song, it sounds like a
Celine Dion song.
It sounds like a properly performed Celine Dion song. I can't imagine a lot of people are Celine Dion fans and also Deadpool fans.
Well, I think that's the beauty of this. If they can get Celine Dion to contribute a song to Deadpool 2, because this is a new Celine Dion song. This is not an old Celine Dion song.
Oh, yeah. She whipped up something new for these boys.
But at the end of it, it's Ryan Reynolds saying, hey, you're too good. We need to bring this down to like a 5. Like, this is not Titanic. This movie is not that good, so we need you to tailor it back a little bit, which I thought was very funny and self-referential. And while again you say the marketing is not maybe up there, but I think if you tried to do capture the same lightning in a bottle from Deadpool 1, they'd probably just shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, you just can't. And yeah, no ill will towards the marketing team, but it's just interesting to see how it compares to a couple years ago.
Well, I also think it's interesting is also the non-score soundtrack was fully revealed with this, and there's a lot of songs in here of all types of I guess genres and I guess years. And what I think is funny is that how big I guess a bigger role music is playing in this movie, maybe that we don't realize yet. Mm-hmm. Because we got Celine Dion, we've got DJ Shadow Run the Jewels, and it jumps right into Peter Gabriel to Cher to Dolly Parton to Air Supply, Pat Benatar, then right back to Skrillex. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm very interested to see how this all plays off in the movie. And I think in one of them, I forget what song when they listened to. Was it All Out of Love at the beginning when he jumps in the car? In the taxi with Dopinder at the beginning, so
yeah, that sounds about right.
So that's very interesting. I've listened to this at work, and people are probably like, "What kind of hell playlist is Chris listening to today?" Because this is all over the place.
You just look at him straight in the face and you say, "I'm cultured, you son of a bitch. Leave me alone."
That's right. I'm prep, and this is homework for my next movie going experience. But as of today, the instrumental for the first album was revealed, and it is the first instrumental album to receive a parental advisory sticker. Yes, you cannot buy this at your Walmart. You're going to have to go out to your FYEs or your Suncoast videos and buy this thing. And we were able to pull up one of the songs. You can find it here from Billboard.com. It is a song from Tyler Bates, who actually did the music for Guardians and Guardians 2, called "You Can't Stop This, Motherfucker." And it is
more choice words sung in opera in the side of the song.
That's right. So it is like you mentioned, like kind of like a Gregorian chant song. You mentioned Game of Thrones vibe, and in it, it's like what it says, fighting bad guys or something, fighting dirty bad guys. It's something about
something along the lines of "You can't stop the juggernaut."
Yeah, you can't stop him. He's a juggernaut. Holy shit balls is one of them. It's again parental advisory there. There's a bunch of language, but it is hilarious. So if you want to pick this up and listen to it, I'm like, oh, they're actually going meta with the music. Like, this is breaking fourth wall on the music level as well.
And it sounds like we might see the Juggernaut in this movie. I don't know if that's supposed to be a subtle reveal or hint. I feel like I've seen a headline somewhere that mentioned the Juggernaut might be in the movie, but I probably looked away very quickly. Maybe it was like tied to a TV spot or something. But
well, there's been rumors. There's nothing revealed, nothing official for that other than this. But he could be on that train thing that they're transporting mutants in, which is where he was in, I guess, in X-Men 3 as well. Again, Juggernaut was supposed to be in first class, but they replaced him with the Quicksilver scene. He was supposed to be going to break Magneto out in first class. So they're trying to bring the Juggernaut in here. What I also enjoy is we have the full track list here. It's very hard to find this full track list now. They've taken a lot of it offline. But, there is a song called Holy Shit Balls and Make the Whole World Our Bitch. Pity Dick. That's also from the trailer.
Man, we're going to have to do an explicit warning on this podcast. Yeah, we're just reading the news here, folks.
This is in our language. We didn't choose this. Of course, his phrase maximum effort, cable flashback. I mean, I don't know if any of these are in any certain order, but I'm definitely looking forward to see some of these play out. So you can check that on our show notes. I think I had to go to probably 10 sites to find this, so I feel proud of us, Mike.
Good job, Chris.
Also, confirmation, plus, I guess, good news. TJ Miller will not be back for the X-Force movies as Weasel again.
Toilet flush sound effect. His career.
Yeah. Like I said, when he goes from the meh emoji to the poop emoji really fast in real life. But I don't think, I don't think they need him for X-Force, but if they do a Deadpool 3... I don't think they'll bring him back for that either.
Yeah, I think Deadpool 3 doesn't sound like it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's Ryan Reynolds saying that. He's like, I don't know if I want to do a Deadpool 3, but, I wouldn't... He's a smart guy. I don't think he's going to be like, yes, we have to do Deadpool 3 before 2 comes out, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because I think if you want to negotiate your contract for more money... you want to play it close to the chest.
Yeah, and if Ryan Reynolds ever decides that he wants to officially retire from the character, which I guess would be fine, it would be his choice. They definitely wouldn't recast him. I think they would do something like maybe like a Lady Deadpool movie, something like that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different Deadpools you can do out there. Ultimate Deadpool was different. I'm kind of sad the cartoon Deadpool's kind of gone away. That would have been really fun to see that one. So, I think if he's saying no Deadpool 3, he just knows Disney will be the one in charge of that contract, and he's playing that close to the chest because Disney has the money to pay him what he deserves for Deadpool. Fox, they're kind of jerks. So, according to the directors, one of the Russo brothers, I forget which one, apparently Venom is not in the MCU right now. Again, I'm pretty sure they don't have the ability to say yes or no right now, but we'll probably find out more closer to October on if he is or is not. So
I get to me it doesn't matter what anybody says. Even if Kevin Feige said Venom is not in the MCU, it's just like, well, then why is Sony making this? It's almost just like you can't undo it. It's like, because you have this whole split custody relationship. It's like saying the Spider-Man's about to get a stepdad, and it's just like then it's like the real dad saying nuh-uh, that Spider-Man does not have a stepdad. It's like, well, there's nothing you can really do about it. So if Sony wants to make these movies, they're kind of technically tied to the MCU a little bit because the through line is Spider-Man. And if the audience loves
Spider-Man's in Venom, Spider-Man has nothing to do with this as of right now.
They said he's going to, and even if he wasn't, it would be dumb for Sony not to somehow dovetail Tom Holland into this movie at least a little bit, because that's box office dollars right there. But anyway, even if the audience loves Venom, loves Tom Hardy, loves this rendition, it doesn't matter what Disney's gonna say. They would bring him in no matter what if they get a good reaction from the audience. They're probably just hedging their bets a little bit because they're like, oh, if this movie bombs, we can just easily just brush it under the rug.
I don't think Venom's in the MCU any more than Deadpool is or any X-Men is. So they can totally have them separate and be like, no, we don't need them. We can do. We're not even gonna touch Venom for another 20 years, and by then, what will this even matter? So to me, it's fine if he's not. If they want him to be in there, it's cool, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're just gonna be like, nope, we're just gonna let them do their own thing for a little bit. But again, I don't think we'll know until October. I think when it comes out will be the definitive answer, is it or is it not kind of thing.
I think it would be after the box office performance. That's when we'll really know.
Yeah, I don't think Marvel will retroactively bring somebody in. That would be my only thing. They have to do it now or never. So I think we'll know in the movie that they're not going to retroactively pump Venom into the MCU kind of thing, because he's taking place in San Diego, where I guess Ant-Man and the Wasp are set, some other movies. So I feel like we're going to know the day of when it comes out. Also, I forgot to mention, Deadpool 2 is doing early screenings, but all of them seem to be filled up. Mike, did you get tickets or no?
No, man, those things crop up so fast, and they just go away like dust.
Yeah, I didn't get any because I didn't have it in my town. So they hate the Midwest for sure. Solo tickets are now on sale. Mike, did you get yours? They went on sale on May the 4th. Be with you.
No,
this is with you.
This is just a great description of the way Disney does business, because I was thinking to myself, I don't think I need to see this movie on a Thursday night. I feel like I can wait. And then I was like, oh, is that going to be bad for the box office? If even me, like a big fan of all this nerd stuff, decides that he can wait to go see Solo. But then I bought my tickets for like Saturday morning. All I did was just shift me a couple hours. And I think mainly because I don't think there's anything in this movie that can really be spoiled. Like, I know
Right.
Han and Chewie aren't going to die. It's just going to be like a kind of like just this one-off Star Wars adventure that I think I can just wait until Saturday morning to go see, because we're going to review it. We're going to talk about it on the show. So I got to go see it no matter what. So I was like, I feel like this would just be a better theater going experience if I just stroll in just nice and easy and casually. Don't have to fight the evening traffic to get over to my theater. So, yep, I got my tickets for Saturday morning.
Cool. Right now, it's projected at a $175 million opening weekend. So that's also Memorial Day weekend. I didn't realize this. So that's actually like a longer weekend for them as well. But ticket sales are out. The pre-sales are doing better than Black Panther.
What? Really?
But yeah, pre-sales are doing better than Black Panther. It says Star Wars. People are going to buy the tickets regardless.
I guess.
But I think Black Panther had better legs than Han Solo is probably going to have.
The legs are always the secret when it comes
If Black
to the box
Panther
office.
is number 6 in the box office against its own movie, Infinity War, it's doing well on its 12th weekend here. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's out on digital. You can buy it on digital right now, I'm pretty sure, right? Or this week?
Yeah, I think it's coming out.
Yeah,
and then Solo is also going to have to compete against Jurassic World not long after it, which would be a huge box office draw.
Yeah, so I think Solo will probably do well opening weekend, but I think we're going to see some dips versus returning Deadpool customers, Jurassic World customers. The summer really kind of opening up fully right then and there. So I think this will be fun. I've got opening day tickets. I didn't get the fan early screening. I went with my reserve seating, so I know I can just roll in, sit down, be good. So I'm actually more excited for this than I was Rogue One, and this is tracking higher than Rogue One did as well.
Yeah.
So
well, look at my instincts totally being flushed down the toilet like TJ Miller's career.
It's cool. You can have what you need to have. I think we're just in it so much, and we just know too much about the production of this movie that we are more panicked than everybody else. A change in directors, everything just wrapping up like 2 weeks ago. Like,
we tend to know too much all the time, which probably negatively affects our theater going experiences sometimes.
Yeah, so knock on wood for Han Solo, the Solo experience. Mulan, the live-action movie, I'm going to throw this on here because I thought this was interesting. The live-action Mulan movie is to have a massive production scale, close to a $290+ million budget.
Ooh, dang. That's close to like Avengers level budget there.
Yeah.
Throw in the marketing. I mean, there's no reason that this doesn't reach like 500 million like some of these other big movies. They must expect this movie to do really good. I don't know if we have a release date for it, but I would assume that this is either going to be early summer or like December.
Let me pull up here. I'm pretty sure that it's actually March 2020. Which is when Beauty and the Beast came out, and it did big numbers at the box office.
And that's I wonder if that's just a ton of special effects or what the deal is, but yeah, that's a big ass budget. I mean, Disney's got the money, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious. I'm trying to search up here the box office numbers for the live action Disney movies just to kind of see what's going on here. Beauty and the Beast total gross, I think this is domestic here, is $500 million for Beauty and the Beast. What's another live action one they've done? What was the one you didn't see? Was that
The Jungle Book would probably be the second one, right?
Jungle Book? Let me see. Jungle Book was 364 million, which is these are top 16 for Disney overall. So, do you consider Alice in Wonderland a live action reimagining? I can't.
No, I think they didn't really start doing the live action stuff until, what was it, Snow White?
I think there was it Cinderella? Cinderella was the first one with from 2015. I feel,
but that wasn't called Cinderella. Was
yeah,
it?
it was.
Didn't have like.
Yeah,
really? I don't even remember
You're
that
thinking
movie.
The Snow White one would have been was it Maleficent? But that wasn't.
Yeah.
But that wasn't. That was like a reimagining of the villain.
No, they did. Didn't they do Snow White, then Maleficent, then like Snow White and the Huntsman?
I don't.
Or was
think
it Snow White and the Huntsman? No, it was Snow White. It was Snow White and the Huntsman, Maleficent, and then they just did like a Huntsman movie.
Well, Snow White. That's not Disney. Those aren't the Snow White ones. Aren't Disney because that's in.
I can't keep track of any of this nonsense, Chris. I've only seen one of these movies, which was Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, the Snow White movies, that's in public domain, so those were created by a different studio. But Cinderella was the first one, and it's the smallest at 50th place out of all of Disney overall, including Marvel and Star Wars. But they're only getting higher on this list, so I feel like they're like, oh yeah, Mulan's definitely gonna make back some money for us.
I'm not trying to drill this all down to race, but I would assume that they think this movie is going to make a lot of money in China. This whole movie is about, I don't want to say the history of China, but it's about like, ancient times in China. I would think that the audience would love that type of movie,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Disney's catering to a global audience now, more so than they used to. So, yeah, I guess that makes me feel a little better about Mulan, since they are changing the story from the animated series. So,
yeah. Well, we already got our Szechuan sauce back, so I don't know exactly what we're waiting for.
That sucked so hard. Let me tell you. Let's talk about disappointment. The Szechuan sauce.
I was at McDonald's last night and I tried out their chicken tenders, and I did not get the Szechuan sauce. I went with sweet and sour, which is much better.
So, did you try the Szechuan sauce?
Yeah, I've tried it before.
Okay.
It just tastes like salty soy sauce.
It's soy sauce and honey, man. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not even. They're not going to talk about it. So, to hell with you, Rick and Morty fans who ruined Szechuan sauce for the rest of the world. Teen Titans Go to the Movies has the first trailer come out this week.
This is going to be a weird movie, man.
And let me tell you, I had a great fucking time watching this. I loved all the references and all the pop culture jokes and jabs and everything from Marvel to DC itself. Teen Titans, I don't know if I'm going to watch this in there, but someone did point out that Will Arnett not only voices Deathstroke, but also Lego Batman in the DC universe.
Yeah, and even before you make that connection, the humor does feel a little bit like the Lego movie, but I don't think this movie is going to perform quite as well. Because Lego is like a big global toy brand that has like all of these established like games and properties, and is in everybody's household.
And it had a good story. Like it had a good heart. This just looks like jokes for jokes' sake.
Yeah, it's almost like the Lego movie meets like Deadpool, but then slap like a PG rating on it, and then hopefully the audience that watches Teen Titans. This is a weird kind of property to push the people that don't really watch cartoons or Cartoon Network or have never seen the Teen Titans Go show before at all. It's kind of very strange, but good for it. How often do you see 2D animated films make it to the big screen?
Well, from an animated TV show to begin with, it's not even. Yeah, the jump was great. The reveal of Nicolas Cage's voicing Superman was pretty fun. Jimmy Kimmel's voicing Batman. They unveiled that in this trailer as well. I've just got to say the jokes, they worked for me, and I just needed that. Like, I don't need to take a movie seriously, because after watching Infinity War, I could use a lighthearted movie. I need something to rinse that taste out.
Yeah, exactly.
And Teen Titans Go to the Movies seems like that kind of show where I can sit down. I don't have to know anything going in. I just got to know they're going to make jokes about how they didn't save anything, but they did save room for dessert, Mike.
Yeah, it seems like we might be pleasantly surprised by this movie.
I think this is. I'm going to turn it. I'm just going to turn off the brain and just take in the jokes, because they even make I can't believe they made a Deadpool joke for like 15 to 20 seconds. Like, that was what really kind of caught me off guard, because I'm like, are they gonna? Yeah, they're gonna bash the Green Lantern movie too. That's 2 Ryan Reynolds properties in one go. So I'm gonna check this out in theaters, Mike. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow, look at you, Chris. Well, I'm glad. I hope this does really well at the box office because I'd love to see more 2D animated stuff make it to the big screen.
Yeah, hopefully not a sequel to this, but at least more of it, at least.
Yeah.
But in something that you shared with me this week, because I was out working and didn't have internet access, but the DC and Warner Brothers have announced their streaming service finally, and the name is right on the nose. They call it the DC Universe.
Yeah.
And that is all we know. We don't know pricing. We don't know release dates. But we do know some of the shows in production, and at least 2 of these are surprising to me.
Yeah, they're basically kind of announced, I would say, almost title cards for these shows. 2 of them we already knew right up front. So the Titans show that we've been talking about, created from the same studio that's making Arrow, The Flash, and all those films. I mean, we've already seen set photos for Titans, so seeing the title reveal wasn't that exciting.
I'm pretty sure it's the same font as like they use on the Robin comic books or something like that.
Yeah,
it's really close to that.
Yeah, and then we saw the Young Justice Outsiders Season 3 title card pop up. It was just nice to see that again in the news because I feel like I haven't had any news for this animated show that I'm really looking forward to. I think that I might see there. I have a strong feeling that there's probably going to be a panel at Comic-Con this year for it, and then I might be able to see some footage. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also a Harley Quinn animated series, which I feel like maybe we haven't talked about on the show before, but I feel like I've heard about it.
I've not. This is the first I'd heard of it. I assume this is one of those DC Harley Quinn movies of the 18 they've got in production or whatever. They're like,
oh yeah, I guess it's hard to keep track of all the Harley Quinn properties.
And I was like, oh, they're gonna just take one of those movies and make it a streaming service exclusive movie. So you'd have to go there to watch this new Harley Quinn movie, and they don't have to spend all the money to put it in the theaters, kind of thing. That was my guess. But you say it's an animated series, and we don't have any looks of the animated characters or designs at all. Just the was it neon Harley Quinn on what looks to be like cracked concrete or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm loving all of this animated love that's coming to the streaming world and the big screen. This is all good news for me. But I think the last one is kind of the more newsworthy announcement that we have not heard anything about, where they're making a live action Swamp Thing series for the DC Universe streaming service, and James Wan is going to executive produce it. This was shocking to me, Chris.
well, this one I think this was the last bit of news that officially came out of there. That Swamp Thing is live action. So they've got 2 live action shows that we know of that with title cards here: Titans and Swamp Thing, and then Harley Quinn and Just League Outsiders, or not just Young Justice Outsiders is the animated. So this is crazy because, I mean, we've had Swamp Thing movies before, I believe. I'm going to look it up real quick. I believe it's like 80s or 90s when they did a Swamp Thing movie.
Yeah, maybe.
82, yeah.
And then last year we had some test footage leak for what Swamp Thing would have looked like, I believe in Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
So I looked that up just the other day. That's still out there online. You can just Google it and find it. So it's kind of cool to imagine something like that making it to live action. I would think that that's got to be a pretty decent budget for a show like that to pull off Swamp Thing, because there's a whole lot going on with that character. That's a fully CG realized thing there. I mean, yeah, you could probably do some practical effects, maybe if he's like throwing a vine or like a tree or something like that, but I feel like him from head to toe, he's supposed to be massive. I mean, a practical suit could look really cool, but I would think there's got to be a whole lot of special effects, computer effects in that show.
I'm thinking, if I know DC, they're going to take one of those approaches where Swamp Thing is kind of in the background, and like he's not in there all the time. Like he's not the main character.
They're gonna take that Spawn movie approach that's coming out.
Yeah, like he like kind of like they did this with one of the Punisher comic books, where the Punisher, it focused on the cop who was like trying to track down the Punisher and like kind of dealing with that, but he was like, the Punisher was still there going through his stuff. But Swamp Thing has recently got some good comic books recently, and I think they might be pulling from some of those to modern stories.
Yeah, I think one of the more popular storylines was written by Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, Lynn Wein created it, and I'm trying. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, man. It's been a minute, but
yeah, I really attached myself to this news because Swamp Thing's such a weird, interesting type of character to develop for like a live screen adaptation. And I just love the idea of how it's going to get executed. And I would hope, DC Universe is trying to position this streaming app, for the public and to really get out ahead of this DC app, which is probably going to crush them, honestly, just by catalog alone. So I would hope DC Universe would just be like, okay, we have a little bit of a gamble here. We need to spend a lot of money to make sure that the Swamp Thing show is really, really good. It's got to go above and beyond what we're seeing on the CW for sure. And I'm sure it's probably only going to be like a 10-episode run, but I hope they inject a ton of money into it. Like, I'm talking like Game of Thrones budget here. Give me like just an amazing Swamp Thing show that we would never see otherwise. Like, it's only because it's premiering on like a brand new streaming network that is probably going to get the love that it probably would never get.
Yeah. Speaking of love, it'll probably won't get. The other show that was announced to be in production, not fully with the title card, is the Metropolis show.
We did talk about this.
That was going to be on a network as going over to the DC Universe streaming service.
And what was this show supposed to be about? Like, Superman's not in it, right?
No, Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, or not Clark Kent, Lois Lane and Lex Luthor, like, I think pre-Superman or something like that. I don't know.
God, that sounds
There's
boring.
no Superman in it, which is weird. But that's how they've been doing it. If it does come through, it'll be on the DC Universe, not on a network television. Which
I get. What are we supposed to maybe temper our hatred for this possible idea? Because we thought the Krypton show was be the awful, but we've been hearing good things about it.
I keep
even
hearing
though we're
more
not
good things.
it.
Like, I'm like every week, like, oh man, this is crazy. How do they do this? So I'm like, damn it, you were wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Krypton, an alien planet with like a cool looking Brainiac that we've seen in the trailers. Possible super powered people on Krypton.
General Zod, I think, is in the newest episode as well. So,
but then you got Metropolis pre-Superman. It's just like, all right.
yeah, it's like Smallville without Superman, and it kind of didn't have Superman. Well, I mean, what I'm thinking here is, and the biggest conversation is, and you put this out there even as well, how much do you pay for the DC Universe monthly, Mike? Because, again, if we happen to pull all the DC TV shows and movies out there, including all the animated stuff and all the old up to Batman 66 things, if they can get them, into one package, what do you pay for that if we do get everything?
Yeah, so this one is also really curious in the fact that this is titled DC. So, like, it's not like we're going to get, random, like, series. This is all going to be based on hero type stuff. Most of the streaming apps that I'm subscribed to is just roughly in the ballpark of $15. You got HBO, Spotify, Hulu. I think Netflix is technically a little bit cheaper, but I wouldn't be surprised if one day Netflix cranks it up to $15. When Disney was talking about their streaming app, they said that they were going to price it according to their catalog, which they admitted would be slightly smaller. But now, since they bought Fox, I don't know, maybe they bumped that up. But I think we were guessing maybe like $9.99 or possibly like $7.99 for Disney at one point in time. I would think DC's got to go at least the same or below, like maybe $6.99. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, depending on if they give all the content, I could see them saying $9.99 if that includes movies. Mm-hmm. If there's no movies and there's only like a limited amount of catalog there, I mean, $5 a month to get it would be okay. I also see them doing like an introduction price where there's like, oh, you join now for $5 if you prepay for a year or 3 months or something like that.
This almost seems like one of those bolt-ons, kind of like when you're on the Amazon Prime page and they say, oh, add on Showtime or add on HBO. I feel like I'm going to see, oh, add on DC Universe for, $6.99, $5.99. I still really want to watch some of these shows, but it's going to be hard for me to justify it if it's over $10.
I definitely agree. I think if it was $10 and I wanted to watch a show, I would watch that show, then cancel. Mm-hmm. If they want me to keep it, I think they're going to have to rotate the content or at least offer, new stuff. Like, I think where a lot of streaming services fail is not offering bonus content, like director commentaries and like deleted scenes for stuff. Yeah, I would love to see a streaming service that's all in on DC, nothing else. Give us some of that extra stuff you put on your DVDs or Blu-ray releases, or online. I want to see that stuff because I think that would add value to it rather than just the shows to watch, I guess.
Yeah, and then you could pivot yourself as the only streaming service that has these extra stuff, and you could kind of push forward the competition, and maybe we would see that stuff come to Netflix as well. Because, I mean, even with like a Netflix like original movie, why can't they do special features, you know? Why do I have to go to YouTube to find that, you know? Just put it in the app. It's like right there, man.
Yeah, or director commentary. Like, just change the audio input to director commentary. Like, it's not that the technology is there. They just haven't done it yet. And I think, you know, we need that little extra, because without those things, what's going to stop me from buying, you know, the full version by itself rather than going to the streaming service? Because it comes, even iTunes has special features. So, yeah, I think we're agreeing between $5 and $10 depending on the content here. So, it sounds like you're going to get it to see Young Justice. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta see if maybe they have the old Batman animated series. That would be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Or at least some Blu-ray 1080 versions of maybe the old Batman movies, like
just
Tim Burton's.
I want the entire animated catalog because I love DC's animated stuff. I want the entire animated catalog, whether it's movies or TV shows, the Justice League TV show, you know, all that stuff. Just put it all on there.
Yeah, I would probably watch it more if I would want to catch up on some of those things a little quicker. I mean, did you ever watch the 3D Green Lantern that was on Cartoon Network?
I feel like I've maybe seen
the CGI one. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that one. That was really cool. So I would join it just to watch that again. So there we go. DC Universe coming around the corner, Mike. When do you think it's going to drop? Christmas next year?
I think it's going to be in the fall.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully Comic-Con brings us some news. Spawn, the movie that you keep calling Venom or whatever, I don't know, is eyeing Jamie Foxx for the lead role.
Oh,
do you think
so would that
want
be
Jamie Foxx back or in the lead role Spawn?
Would that be for the Spawn or just for like one of those lead detectives?
The Spawn.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, that would be cool. I just watched a movie trailer. What was it? It was a Robin Hood movie trailer that Jamie Foxx is in.
Oh, yeah, like, with the guy from Kingsman.
Taron Egerton. I'm just like, Jamie Foxx, what are you doing in these movies? No one's going to watch Robin Hood, just like nobody watched King Arthur except for you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it was free, so I might as well.
Yeah, sure. Jamie Foxx is cool. I mean, he performed a very specific kind of Electro that just wasn't supposed to be in that type of Spider-Man movie.
Well, that's because Mark Webb got the job because his last name was Webb, like a spider. I mean, that was really it. So.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's cool. I'm fine with Jamie Foxx's Spawn. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that also throws back to the '90s version of Spawn, where Spawn was played by Michael J. White. I believe it's I don't know the character's, but I believe the character is normally African American before he becomes Spawn, so I'm glad they're keeping up with that, you know. So yeah, he'd be fine. I think. I don't know if he wants to do it, but he could probably do it. Westworld, have you been watching it? We're two episodes in.
Yeah.
Episode
yes,
39.
I am connected to the Westworld.
I'm not, because I had issues reconnecting my HBO, and it was a pain in the ass. So I'm still a little bit behind, but they've already announced a season 3 renewal for Westworld, meaning after Game of Thrones is said and done next year, Westworld will continue on. So
I mean, not surprising. I don't feel like Westworld can really hold the same mantle as Game of Thrones did, so I hope HBO is still aggressively trying to find their like kind of killer show. Westworld just has like a different style of burn to it, and there's only 2 episodes in, but I feel like this season has been a little bit slower. Like we had like that big we had that big finale last season. I feel like we're kind of like stumbling, and it's a little slow to kind of get back up. So we'll have to see how it kind of peters on. But yeah, I'm hoping for some excitement.
Well, I think the first season overall is a slow roll until you're like episode 3 or 4, and then you're like, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, that kind of makes sense for the first season because you're kind of getting comfortable with the park, how things work. But we all know how everything works now, so let's just get crazy with it.
Well, I'm hoping one of them. I know they've kind of teased Samurai World or Shogun World. I'm hoping one of the other ones is possibly Wayne's World. I would love to see that. So.
Oh, Chris, I definitely want to end the show after you mention Wayne's World.
Yeah. So there we go. We're gonna end the show now.
Just because it's a ridiculous thought, but I love Wayne's World.
It is. It's excellent. Party time. Okay. We can end the show now, Mike. People want to know what you're up to. Where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to keep up with you, see what you're doing. Where can they find you?
You can
trimming
find me
your weeds.
Trimming my weeds, eating my weeds, if you will. You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN, or on Instagram, Valdan87. Also, head over to Comic UI. Every week we put out one of our C2E2 interviews, kind of space them out a little bit. I'll be going to Motor City Comic Con in 2 weekends, Mike. Weekend of Deadpool, so we're going to work that out. And we'll be doing some interviews and some stuff there. If you guys, want to listen to anything else, I'm right here every week. Like, we do a review episode. I want people, like, we have all our review episodes. If you want to listen to our reviews, you can find us here. So,
and these AM episodes are lunch episodes for you. They're weird for us, man.
Yeah, I know.
We got a different energy. That's for sure.
I am like thirsty. I don't know why I'm so thirsty right now, but I need a drink. But anyway, Mike, if people are listening just for the first time and want to know more about those review episodes, where can they find us at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host our show and to get our awesome show notes. So if you want to see that track list for Deadpool, we got that in the show notes. If you want the link to the new Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer, we got that in the show notes. If you want to see that those title cards for all those DC Universe shows, we got those. That's right, in the show notes. So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We got like t-shirts, hoodies, whatever the weather for your region is. We got a logo slapped on it for you. That's right. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review. We love that. We love hearing from you. We love the likes, the comments, the retweets. Even if you say I'm wrong and I reply back to you saying I'm going to fight you, I love that as well. So if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. And our next spoiler cast is Deadpool 2, so make sure you're subscribed. We'll be talking about that. And also, sounds like we're going to be talking about the season finale, possibly series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So stay tuned, stay connected, stay subscribed, and we'll be here.
That's right. Sounds good. So I'm going to go grab me a drink, Mike, and I'll let you get ready for the day, and we'll catch you guys next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
I'm leaving you at home, bastard child. Which really what it feels like sometimes.